Hi, my name is Merlin Herman. I am presenting on a learning disabilities project for Psychological Foundations of Learning, GE 502. The learning disability that I will be presenting on is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD. What is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD? It is a neuropsychiatric condition affecting preschoolers, children, adolescents, and adults around the world, characterized by a pattern of diminished sustained attention and increased impulsivity or hyperactivity. It is a condition in which a person has trouble paying attention and focusing on tasks, tends to act without thinking, and has trouble sitting still. ADHD was formerly called ADD or Attention Deficit Disorder. The exact cause is not clear but tends to run in families. ADHD affects up to 5 to 8% of school-age children, with 60 to 85% of those diagnosed as children continuing to meet criteria for the disorder in adolescence. They often have significant impairment in academic functioning, as well as social and interpersonal situations. It is frequently associated with comorbid disorders, including learning disorders, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, and disruptive behavior disorders. Inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity are the core symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Inattention is when the child is easily distracted and has a hard time focusing on any one task. Hyperactivity is when a child may squirm, fidget, or run around at the wrong times. Teens often feel restless and fidgety, and they aren't able to enjoy reading or other quiet activities. Impulsivity is when the child may talk and laugh too loud or become angrier than the situation calls for. Children may not be able to wait for their turn or to share, making it hard for them to play with other children. Teens may make quick decisions that have a long-term impact on their lives, for example, spending too much money or changing jobs often. A child's academic success is often dependent on his or her ability to attend to tasks and teacher and classroom expectations with minimal distraction. Such skills enable a student to acquire necessary information, complete assignments, and participate in classroom activities and discussions. When a child exhibits behaviors associated with ADHD, consequences may include difficulties with academics and with forming relationships with their peers if appropriate instructional methodologies and interventions are not implemented. More boys than girls are diagnosed with ADHD, and ADHD is often diagnosed when a child is between 6 and 12 years old. Personal needs and family life of a child with ADHD. Some personal needs are parents taking care of themselves, um, caring for their own physical and mental health is an important part of helping a child with ADHD. It would help the parent have the energy they need to take care of that child. Helping the child build self-esteem by encouraging a sense of belonging, confidence in learning, and an awareness of his or her own contributions. Helping the child get the most out of school. Promoting school success will help the child academically, socially, and developmentally. And finally, helping the child get things done. Patience, persistence, and creative thinking can help the child learn skills and accomplish tasks at home and at school. Learning disabilities can be hard on a family. ADHD impacts not only on the child, but also parents and siblings, causing disturbances to family and marital functioning. One child, often the mother, may recognize and face the problem sooner or more readily than the other. Misunderstanding and conflict can result. Brothers and sisters often resent the amount of attention given to a child with ADHD and may proclaim knowingly that the child is spoiled and perfectly capable. Grandparents tend to blame parents for not doing enough, not being disciplined enough, organized enough, or not giving enough direct help to the child. Neighbors can be intolerant if the child is very hyperactive or has low frustration tolerance and tends to explode or cry at each hurdle. On a daily basis, children with ADHD typically raise the irritant factor in family life. They tend to leave everyone on edge because their behavior is unpredictable, erratic, inconsistent, and full of ups and downs. ADHD in the classroom. Um, ADHD can make it harder to finish schoolwork and get along with teachers and other students. Children with ADHD, they start assignments but don't complete them. Examples of these are the child works independently in class but gets irritated by the noise another child is making. The child starts off participating in a group project but then drifts off and stops contributing. The child goes to look something up in a book and just keeps reading instead of going back to their work. The issue here is children with ADHD can be easily distracted and get derailed in the middle of an assignment. They are always talking. The child interrupts with questions or comments during instructional time. The child irritates other children by talking during quiet work time. The child has trouble getting to the point where when they answer a question. The issue here is children with ADHD often talk excessively and blurt out their thoughts. Children with ADHD also do not work well in groups. The child may be argumentative and always has to have the last word. They won't let the other children make a presentation and insists on being the one to talk. And the child calls other children stupid and puts down their ideas. The issue here is that children with ADHD can get frustrated when they don't get what they want. They might have trouble filtering what they say and understanding how they come across to others. Finally, they appear to be spacing out during lessons. The child asks what, even when he or she seems to have been listening. The child doesn't remember the teacher's instructions, and the child doesn't know what items they're supposed to have for a project. The issue presented here is that children with ADHD often have trouble focusing and paying attention. Children with ADHD often have difficulty adjusting to the structured environment of a classroom, determining what is important and focusing on their assigned work. They are easily distracted by other students or by nearby activities in the classroom. There are accommodations that reduce distractions and help them to stay on task and learn. Special classroom seating arrangements are a big help. When they sit near the teacher, that provides opportunities for the teacher to monitor and reinforce the child's on-task behavior. Sitting near a student role model provides opportunity for children to work cooperatively and to learn from their peers in the class. And it's also providing low distraction work areas for quiet study time and test taking. Other things that can help with their ADHD is reducing the length of homework assignments, breaking down assignments into smaller, less complex tasks, allowing the child extra time to take extra time on tests. Tests that are time may not allow children with ADHD to demonstrate what they truly know due to their potential preoccupation with elapsed time. Elimination of test anxiety and providing them with other opportunities, methods, or test formats to demonstrate their knowledge. Simplify instructions about assignments. The simpler the expectations communicated to an ADHD student, the more likely it is that he or she will comprehend and complete them in a timely and productive manner. Using behavioral management techniques in the classroom by verbally reinforcing appropriate behavior through praise given to a student when he or she begins and completes an activity or exhibits a particular desired behavior. Last but not least, computer-aided instructions, making instruction more visual and allowing the student to participate more actively in the class. There are accommodations that could also be made in the classroom. Students with ADHD, they learn best with a carefully structured academic lesson, one where the teacher explains what they want children to learn in the current lesson and places these skills and knowledge in the context of the previous lessons. The teacher provides a preview of the expectations about what the students will learn and how they should behave during the lesson. By providing an advanced organizer, Preparation of the day's lesson by summarizing the order of various activities planned by reviewing the previous lesson followed by new information. Reviewing previous lesson plans, reviewing information about previous lesson plans, and reviewing several problems before moving on to the next lesson. Setting learning and behavioral expectations. The teacher states what students are expected to learn during the lesson and describe how students are expected to behave during the lesson as well. Stating needed materials by identifying all materials that the children will need during the lesson rather than leaving them to figure out on their own materials that are required. Also explaining additional resources by telling students how to obtain help in mastering the lesson. Um, the future for children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Children with ADHD, they do not simply outgrow their symptoms when they reach adolescence. Although the absolute severity of ADHD symptoms often declines with age, between 70 to 80% of children with ADHD continue to show problems with attention and impulsivity relative to their age mates. Difficulties in a number of other areas are not uncommon. As many as half exhibit significant behavior problems, defiant and antisocial acts such as fighting, stealing, and vandalism. They are more likely to have been held back in school, to have been suspended from school, and also to drop out. On a positive note, approximately a third of children with ADHD appear to be relatively well adjusted and symptom free as young adults. Higher levels of intellectual functioning and better school performance are associated with better outcomes. The absence of severe behavior and conduct problems during childhood, particularly before age 10, is associated with better adult outcome. Children with ADHD who manage to get along well with their peers are likely to have better adjustments as adults. It is the behavioral, social, and academic difficulties that children with ADHD are at increased risk for what may be most clearly linked to negative adult behavior. Transition service that are available or necessary for children with ADHD. Transition planning is meant to help teenagers figure out what they want to do after high school and what they need to do during the school year so they can meet long-term goals. The key is to making high school relevant for the teen's future. Um, some of these transition services are educational instruction that will be provided to the student to build the skills necessary to reach post-secondary goals. This can include general or special education courses to meet academic requirements, advanced placement courses, career and technical education, or remedial services. Related services. Services needed for the students to access integrated work, education, and living environments. This may include occupational and physical therapy, speech therapy, rehabilitative counseling services, travel training, and other professional supports. Community experiences, which are a variety of activities and experiences that are provided outside the school building. This might include community resources utilized as part of the student's school program, whether during school hours or after school hours, to achieve the stated outcome of community integration. For example, volunteering, residential tours, college tours, and recreation and leisure activities. Development of employment and other post-school adult living objectives. This area focuses on the development of work-related behaviors, job seeking and keeping skills, career exploration, and actual employment, such as career planning, job shadowing, job training, or supported employment. Um, Acquisition of daily living skills. Daily living skills are the skills involved in caring for oneself on a daily basis. These skills are an important component of independent living and include such activities as dressing, grooming, hygiene, self-care skills, household chores, shopping, and managing finances. How completely the student has mastered daily living skills may ultimately determine the type of living environment selected as most appropriate. Finally, functional vocational assessment. It is an additional assessment process if the regular vocational assessment has not provided enough information to make a vocational program decision. Additional assessment activities such as situational assessments, community-based assessments, assistive technology evaluation, or aptitude tests can be performed to get more information about the student's needs, preferences, and interests. This concludes my presentation on attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Thank you.